I'm Sam Favager, I'm 24. I've just started here at Bibby. I'm a marketing research associate is the official title. I started 2 months ago.
Yeah.
I've come through school and then I went to university to study economics at Sheffield, and then I did a master's in operations and supply chain management at Liverpool University, and I've just started here at Bibby. They're sponsoring me to do a PhD in logistics strategy, so I'm working for the next 3 years.
Brilliant.
Here.
What would you say your main responsibilities are?
My main responsibility is to kind of feed into the execs' long-term strategy. Are they in the right markets, the right modes, the right geography? So Bibby's primarily a road freight business. Do we need to get into trains? Do we need to get into ships? We're based in the UK. Should we be in continental Europe? Should we move east?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the trends in macroeconomic trends and trends within supply chain management to see what the risks we're faced with against what we can do and what we should be doing for the customer over the sort of the next 5 to 10 years. So my 3-year research kind of feeds into their strategy, hopefully to try and inform them better.
Brilliant. And what's been your career path so far then? How did you actually get into this role, or how did you get the PhD kind of structure?
How did I find the job? Or
how did you find the job, and how did you get into the...
One of my supervisors, or kind of my lecturers from university, he had a link with Bibby. He'd done some master's projects here before. He had students placed here, so he had a bit of a rapport with one of the guys here. They said, we've got an opportunity, we want to do some research into our long-term strategy. We want a PhD student, anyone in mind? So he just gave me a call, said,
Brilliant.
do you want to come and have a chat with Bibby? So I came in, had a talk, and it all seemed to fit perfectly with my ambition.
Yeah.
It seemed like the perfect thing to do, the sort of next step.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have myself down as a sort of a closeted academic by any means, but it was just the applied nature of it, and just the responsibility they'd give me to sort of use all the things I'd learned in my previous education to kind of think at a more strategic level rather than a sort of a day-to-day thing. That was the sort of lure for me.
Brilliant.
So it seemed like a great thing to do.
Fantastic. And what would your advice be to any young person looking to get into the industry?
Looking to get into logistics?
Yeah.
Very new to it, so only 2 months into this, but there seems to be different backgrounds I've picked up. So there are people who've come through university, but a lot of people, I know one of the divisional directors here, he's come from working in a warehouse, just moving up to shift supervisor, running a depot, and now he's right up there at the top. I mean, I think it's more to do with just your attitude and willing to work. Everyone seems to work really hard, and everyone's kind of where they need to be. Everyone seems to work long hours, and I think that's more of it, rather than, I wouldn't say it was a really, really difficult. It's not kind of a really difficult industry to get into, but you just kind of, I don't know, it's not so much a glamorous one, but it's an interesting one. It's kind of overlooked, I think.
So what's the biggest advice then to young people? Is it just to work hard? Is it about qualifications? Is it...
I wouldn't say... Like for my role, obviously the prerequisite was a master's student to be able to move on to a PhD, but I wouldn't say that that would be the case elsewhere in the organisation. I mean, I've been lucky to get this opportunity, but it wouldn't be something that they recruit for on a yearly basis, or they haven't ever done it before. It's just kind of a new direction they've gone for. So for just talking to my colleagues, they're all kind of lots and lots of different backgrounds, and I don't think we should say, if you want to get into logistics, you've got to take this route.
Yeah, sure.
I think if you want to do it, you can do it regardless of where you come from. Brilliant. Obviously depending on the role you want to go for. And
what would you say the best parts of your job are?
Mine, I'd say, for me, it's the sort of variety, the diversity, and also the responsibility. So I won't be in the office all week. I'll drive places for meetings, meet other people, see operations in action, go into a warehouse, see how things work, just go around and talk to people. So I get to mix with a lot of different types of people in the organisation. And then in terms of responsibility, I'll produce reports and I get to speak to people right at the top. I don't have to there's no kind of stuffiness in terms of the organisation and you know, people sitting in ivory towers somewhere. It seems very accessible, and there's quite a lot of trust. So straight away in the organisation I was given loads of access to information that you wouldn't think you would be straight away. You know, quite a lot of responsibility. So for me, it feels like, you know, there's a bit of trust there, and also a bit. It's an interesting job because it's not kind of mundane and repetitive. And
fantastic. So, what countering that then? So what would you say the worst things about the job are?
I'd say that with my particular job, it's kind of a lot of the onus is on me for my self motivation, because no one's really checking up on you day to day. We've got to send this invoice off to a client because they're not really doing any of that. So a lot of it's because it's a long-term view to what I'm coming out with. It's kind of a lot of it's on me to kind of do it, which is good in a way, because you have to kind of teach yourself to be proactive and to chase things up yourself and to make sure you get the information from people. No one's going to come to you and tell you what to do. So it's kind of self-motivation side thing for me.
If you could change anything about your career so far, is there anything you would change?
No, because I've been very lucky, but I would like to be more technical in terms of, I probably would have, this is quite specific, probably done maths at A level and then would have tried to follow that route more, because I feel that if you do that, I think a lot of the other things are easier to learn at a later date, and I think that if you're really good quantitatively, I think that's like a really, really employable skill, and statistics as well. I mean, I've done quite a lot of that in economics and stuff, but I think that if I was better at that, I think a lot of the other stuff can follow.
Would that make your job easier, do you think?
No, it wouldn't necessarily make my job easier, but I may take a different path. Not necessarily be here, but that wouldn't necessarily be a good thing, but I would have thought, you know, people have worries about whether they're getting employed and stuff. But I think that's one of the best skills to have.
Okay. What do you think the biggest skills then people are looking for nowadays then, for young people, in terms of any advice to young people coming up? What kind of skills do you think they need?
I think it always helps to be a personable character, to get on with people, because if you can go into an interview and you can if you're not that good at on paper, you can obviously almost divert the conversation towards just being someone they can get on well with. As I said earlier, I think quantitative skills and maths are key. I mean, you can learn writing skills and you learn to write better, but I think at an early age to sort of impregnate those mathematical skills is really sort of sought after. I mean, if you and just to be able to write concisely, I've found, because no one really wants to read a load of waffle, especially people at the top. So if you can write really sort of succinct pieces that just have all the key information in, and that sort of impresses people as well as engages them. They're willing to read it, rather than if you like using fancy words and stuff.